one, two, three. Hey guys.
Sorry guys, you're literally gonna hear everything that's happening in my life because I'm in the ghetto and my Wi-Fi doesn't work.
Honestly, we need the technology that Jesus and Mero are using for their show because they're still doing their show remotely, and it's now looking so much better. Like, I don't know what technology they got, but we need it because this is not it.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. Like, I'm having a pretty chilled week. I won't lie, work-wise. Just a couple of things that I have to do here and there, but most of all, like, it's actually quite chilled, which is like, it's so weird because that's like sending me the fact that I have like nothing to do, which is so silly because I don't necessarily have nothing to do. I'm just, yeah, it's a silly thing, but I'm good. I'm alive, and I guess that's great. And you know, how are you doing?
I'm surviving. I'm trying. I'm taking it day by day. Feeling much better than I was like a few weeks ago, but it's still pretty tough. Each day is different, man, and each day comes with different bullshit, but sometimes each day comes with a different good thing. So I'm just trying to hold on to that. But I'm tired. Like things are picking up at work. I'm a bit more productive.
Yeah.
I know exactly how it feels to have nothing to do and have that kill you. And then when you get something to do, that kills you too. So I'm just like, what isn't after us in life? What isn't an assassin? Like,
Honestly,
that's where I'm at.
I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, for the longest time, like my schedule was quite hectic, and I was also like, oh my god, it's so full. I can't do this. And then now that it's like calmed down, I'm also going through it. Why? 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 But anyway, on the good side of things, something strange happened. I mean, we knew it was gonna happen, but we didn't know it was gonna happen because of the uncertainty of the print media thing, to be honest. Like, I didn't expect it to look like that. But yeah, we were on a magazine, and that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I feel very like I was talking to Lando about it.
Let's speak about it. How we felt about that.
I don't know. I felt extremely exposed. Like it was weird. And I think it also the time that it came at was like a very weird time because I was literally in the ghetto, like I was in the dust. So like feeling the way that I was feeling in terms of all the negative feelings that I had, which necessarily weren't like sadness or like self-loathe or anything of that kind. It was just like the world just felt really heavy. And something like that was supposed to make me extremely happy because it kind of is a big win for us, or like it's a win for anyone for that to happen.
Sort of media thing. Actually.
Yes, but the space that I was in, I just felt so exposed, and it felt like there was too much. There were too many eyes on me at that time, and also just the weird relationship that I have with lists and external validation overall.
Yeah,
it just made that moment interesting in that way. Like it made it bittersweet, but I'm pretty happy about it, and I know it's a good thing. But yeah, it came at an interesting time for me. How did you feel?
I definitely felt like overexposed. Like I felt over it. Like I felt bare. I felt incredibly vulnerable, I have to say. Of which is not something I'm very accustomed to. Yeah, it's like literally, and our quote is like this compared to everybody else. So it's like, you know, I felt so exposed. I felt so vulnerable. But I had to obviously like compensate for that by just sort of throwing myself in the in the deep end even more. And so literally what I was doing, I was just putting everything out there just to get it out of just to shock it out of my system. I think it worked because I'm kind of over it, not over the thing, but kind of over those feelings for now. But I definitely, you know, because for the longest time, like, I think I was compartmentalizing. In fact, I was compartmentalizing when it came to the podcast and sort of everything else in my life. And I mean, outside of like social media. And so when this thing kind of became exposed to sort of everybody, family, friends, colleagues, it was like, oh, oh, now people get to sort of know another layer of me. And that's because obviously they're gonna go and find out what this podcast is about. They're gonna go look for it. And then that opens them up to another side of me. Not to say that I'm like around them
different.
Like I'm different. I'm just very quiet. And which is my nature. But, I guess when I'm with Sniper, it's like, we're here to talk. But, well, I'm not going to be quiet. So I definitely felt really, really like exposed. But on the other end, I feel very grateful for that opportunity, because obviously with something like that comes a lot of exposure. And I asked for that win. I really had to remind myself that, because I remember I was having quite a difficult week that week, and it was the Friday when I found out. And I remember earlier on in the week, I was like, damn, man, like this has been a really hectic couple of weeks, and this week isn't any better. I just need a win. I remember even the day before I was incredibly sad, and I was like, a win would be nice, like just a, and so I had to, in the midst of sort of me, being in all that, like, I feel overexposed, I kind of had to, with every sort of negative feeling that I felt, I kind of had to remind myself that I asked for this, and we can't, as just from a religious perspective, from a spiritual, just anything, just asking. We can't ask and then, you ask for something earnestly, and when you get it, it's like, and just with one another, forget the spiritual and religious whatever, but even with one another, when you ask for something, they give it to you, and you're just like, I didn't want to do that, because I realized that I can do that. It's easy to do that. It's so easy to do that. And so I kind of had to be like, you know what, I asked for this, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. I'm incredibly grateful, that I was my request was listened to. So I was really like, I really had to like balance sort of the duality of things at the same time, and it was really difficult, considering that I'm also just battling my own things, and all these different, it was just, but we're grateful. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, true love.
I don't know, it's I'm extremely grateful. It's just very difficult to have experiences of joy when that you're in the deep, like, it's weird. It feels like a betrayal of the process itself, because it's like I'm going through it, and the small moments of joy always feel like I'm pushing everything else away, or I'm abandoning the dealing. So that's why it was so difficult for me last week, and I just genuinely don't enjoy. It's weird. I don't enjoy. It's gonna sound weird. I don't enjoy like having too much attention on me.
No, that's me. The only time I'm okay with attention, like when I'm like, you bitches are going to give me attention. I said I was gonna stop swearing because everybody's listening to the podcast now, but it's one word. Is on my birthday. I also hate that stuff. Like
I don't even like it on my birthday. I don't know if people have noticed, but I would literally I would rather switch off my phone and fall asleep on my birthday. Like, I don't enjoy it. It's overwhelming, and it's just too much for me. I don't know. Like, and it's weird because I'm a pretty, like, in terms of verbalizing affection, I have no issues with that. I have no issues with telling people how I feel about them. I have no issues with receiving that from people normally. But when it's coming like in large numbers, it's very, very overwhelming. So that was a very interesting thing for me to experience. But I think it was very important for me because it just validated, like, in a small way, a lot of things that we had kind of felt like we weren't seeing in the last few months or so. So it was a dope win in that way. At the same time, I'm like, I'm glad July is ending, because this has been one of the toughest months ever. I've dealt with a new kind of depression that I've never experienced before. That wasn't about sadness, that wasn't about like self-loathe. It kind of felt like it wasn't even all the things I was feeling weren't necessarily just about me. They weren't me centered. It just felt like the world was very heavy, and the role that I have in the world felt very, very small. And I'm kind of feeling better. I'm accepting, and I'm excited to see what August will bring, because that's always a good month for me. I don't know why, but things just like the fire, I always get out of the fire to something better, like every single year in August. So I'm excited for that, and it feels good to actually be excited for the first time in a long time.
Yes.
So yeah, that's me. I'm at a place where I'm extremely excited, and I'm just hoping that the way that this year is set up and the pandemic won't fuck with that.
Yeah, I feel you 100%, because I really am sort of, July had kind of, I thought having obviously been dealing with a certain type of depression sort of the whole year is and then obviously I thought I had reached the peak like March, April, June, May, and then June I started feeling better, and so I was like, we're good, it's done. And then July came, and then and I was like, come on, dog. But that's just life. And that's just that's just how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. You are gonna have that sort of fluctuation. I just didn't expect it. I really wasn't expecting it. I don't expect it every time it comes, I suppose. So like I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, like it's gonna come now. At all, So I'm also definitely looking forward to my nose is itchy. I'm definitely looking forward to, oh my God, the month of August, and just sort of what it has to bring. Like I like I said, it's my birthday. It's my birthday month, so I'm excited about that. I don't have a lot to look forward to. I'm gonna be very honest with you. There's nothing to look forward to.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to like create a lot of hype for myself around my birthday. I mean, I'm not gonna say I've never had a bad birthday. I think I have had one bad birthday, and I just don't see the reason why I should have another one. Just because we're in a pandemic. And so, I'm gonna have to find joy in whatever the hell I can find joy in. If it means I must be extra for the supposed first time on my birthday, in my life, I'm gonna have to be extra. I never buy a cake on my birthday. I'm gonna buy a cake on my birthday.
I hardly ever get a cake.
I'm gonna like do the most. If I have to wear like 500 outfits on that day, I will do so if it makes me happy. And so I'm just kind of gearing myself up for that. I'm mostly hoping I'm really praying and hoping that like I don't wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do this, because it really could happen. But I'm definitely looking forward to the month of August and what it has to bring, and also what we're gonna bring to the table. But you guys will see next week. I think I gave away too much, but you guys will see next week. And guys, we're actually just, the purpose of this episode is to just sort of reflect on the month of July. And just sort of like this series, just to kind of bring this series to a close, which has been the seasonal affective disorder. That's the right term, right? I don't know. Yeah.
Sad, yeah.
The sad series to a close, and to just kind of reflect on that. I think, like I was thinking about the healing episode, and who is that? And I'm actually kind of glad that we we tried to speak about healing then instead of now. Come on. And there's just something about how we spoke about it that made me realize, just so like outside of myself, I tend to be very outside of myself when I'm within a depressive episode or when I'm experiencing the sads. And so like that episode really made me realize like, oh, like I'm not present at all, which is completely understandable, obviously. But then it also made me realize the upside in sort of coming back into myself during that time. And so when we were discussing or trying to discuss healing, like it kind of brought me back to myself a little bit, and had me thinking, I don't know what that sound is, and had me thinking just sort of around healing and just sort of around sort of the basic things that, it's probably good to do, when you're in an episode. I mean, an example of that is sort of eating. You take something like that for granted.
I actually was saying this morning to Zenanda that I literally, for the last month or so, I haven't even been taking my multivitamins and my probiotic. And no wonder my body has been reacting the way that it's reacting, because I haven't been trying to help it. And at the same time, my brain is fucking out. So like it is very weird to discuss something while you're going through it, because then you're able to see if you're doing the things that help you or if you're not. Because I feel like this time around I was doing the speaking, but I wasn't really helping myself in terms of taking meds. I didn't even try go to therapy. I was speaking about it, but outside of the speaking and acknowledging and changing like the way I was applying my mind and thinking about it, I wasn't really helping myself with everything else. My eating went to shit. Drinking of water went to shit. Taking my vitamins went to shit. And I just could not sleep. I wasn't sleeping at all. But now my sleeping is a bit better. I hope. Well, it's been like 3 days. So I hope my pattern is going to change and that I'm going to sleep more, because that's a big part of my routine and helping me be on top of things. Because once that's thrown off, it messes with my productivity. Then I start to feel like I'm not applying myself, and that kills me. So that's what I'm grateful for, with the process, being able to see the thing for what it is instead of just experiencing it and then only reflecting on it later outside of it. So that's me.
Yeah, I like what you said about sort of being grateful for that in that type of, it's really hard being grateful when you're inside. But yeah, I mean, I realized that like what was helping me, it had kind of just sort of become a part of my routine, was the vitamin taking. Although last week, like I realized I was taking them in the evening instead of during the day, like I usually did. But yeah, things like that were kind of at least helping my system. Like my system at least was still working in as much as my mind was sort of elsewhere. But that was really, I really appreciated sort of that turn of things, in that, like what you're saying, you kind of see, what it is you're speaking versus what it is you're actually doing. And it's easy to fall into that, like, oh, I keep saying this and then I don't. It's life, guys,
I didn't beat myself up. I was like, dude, the circumstances, we're in a situation that we've never
circumstances
never thought of before.
We are going to shock ourselves, we're going to shock other people, and some people are gonna be like, but you said this, you was talking about, you know what, it is what it is. Like I think what I'm really grateful for is that I didn't fall into that trap of like beating myself up.
Yes. I think that's what speaking about it made us made almost impossible to do, because you're processing things as they are happening. So you're not internalizing them and sitting with them and feeling like you are ending your world. You're acknowledging what it is that you're dealing with. So that's what speaking about things helps with.
Exactly. And so for the first time during a depressive episode, like I really just wasn't beating myself up. I was very much like, I mean, I've sort of been coaching myself on that over the past couple of months, but just to kind of be understanding of the situation, be like, we're in a freaking pandemic. There's nothing normal about any of this. And you really do have to just tell Zenanda it's a little bit loud.
Sorry.
This is gonna translate.
But we need to wrap up soon.
Yeah, we need to wrap up anyway. But yeah, like it just kind of, I even lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was saying. But yeah, guys, this is gonna be a short episode. I lost my train of thought.
It's just a refresher.
Yeah, just a refresher, reflection. We didn't drop last week because it was a pretty difficult week. But it feels good to sort of be back. Also, like, making stuff every week is a lot of work, guys.
It's actually very draining. It's especially because, like, I realized I have way too much screen time. Like, it's filming, it's meetings at the office, it was the IG lives. I was overstimulated and I was engaging way too much. Yeah. So that took a huge toll on me, especially at a time where I'm not feeling grand.
Exactly.
I could never do that in that way ever again.
No.
Sorry, it was fun, but
sorry,
it was too much for me. It was way too much for me. Yeah. It actually really affected me badly.
100%. It's just
I don't know how people can, like, and it was just us chatting. It wasn't even us like performing. I don't know how people can. Maybe that's why it was difficult, because it was personal experience and it wasn't necessarily like putting on a persona and doing something else. Yeah. So just being me throughout the day for like 5 to 6 hours on video or virtually, it's too much. I can't. And even today I have like another meeting after this and I'm already like, I've engaged too much virtually.
Exactly. Literally.
I'm tired. Like I see people are shooting face to face. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out a safe way to do it so that we can go back to doing that soon.
Yeah. But yeah, for now, while we figure it out, you're just going to have to get this. But because obviously we need permits and things like that and, PPE and, all that stuff. But yeah, guys, let's close this episode. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for the love. Thank you all for the, for being with us during the series, this month's series. Thank you all for recommending people. Thank you all for getting back to us about what you think and, engaging with us on our IG lives. It's just amazing. Thank you guys so much. Oh my God.
Thank you. Yeah. I also really appreciate it. They were fun.
They were
as exhausting as they were. They were a lot of fun.
We'll still be doing them, but just in a different way. But you'll see when the time comes. But yeah, thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell everybody about us. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, evening, whatever time you're listening. Thank you all so much. My word.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.